Thank you very much, dear brothers and sisters. Well, I don't want to speak too much. I basically want to say two things to you, to all of you, and happy to follow Joseph. He said, never give up and nothing is impossible. I want to follow up on that, and I would like to ask you, be active as the first thing, and second, bring reconciliation. And I would like to show you on my story how these two things can change lives of people. I myself wasn't brought up as a Christian. I actually was a non-believer till the age of 23, and I got to know Jesus through the message, or actually through the activity of Christians, especially my schoolmate at the university, who spoke to me for 2 years about Jesus. So I fully underline what Joseph said, never give up, because if it wouldn't her working 2 years with me, with her patience, and it wasn't always easy, I would not get to know Jesus. So that's the first thing. And I saw many examples of my life where I saw people who know Jesus, mostly Christians, who came into my life and were active and invited me to move on. And that's also my testimony of being here. This is my first time on the Austrian National Prayer Breakfast, which I'm very honored to be here. And I must say that I got to know very beautiful people around Europe who know Jesus. And it's a great encouragement for me, also for Slovakia, to connect with others, brothers and sisters who know Jesus and bring His kingdom on this earth. So that's definitely a great story of how important it is for you to be active, of course also for me. The second, what I said is that please bring reconciliation. I would like to share a little story of Slovakia. As you know, Slovak state during the Second World War was collaborating with Adolf Hitler. And unfortunately, this collaboration brought that we sent a lot of Jewish Slovak, those were Slovak citizens, to concentration camps. Because the Slovak government issued a Jewish codex, what it was called, and it said that anybody of Jewish origin doesn't have any rights anymore and is sent to concentration camp. Very sad decision of a government. What we did in my government, and thanks to Martin Stuk, who is somewhere here with us, he came to me one day and he said, Eduard, I think we as a government need to apologize to the Jewish community, because it was the government who issued the decree sending them to concentration camp. So it should be a government who officially apologizes to the Jewish community. So actually 80 years later, exactly, basically day before the 80th anniversary of this tragic event in Slovakia, my government set and we issued an apology as a government approval document, and the very next day, on the 80th anniversary, me and my ministers, also the Speaker of the House, and I think Madam President was there present as well. So basically all the representatives of the state came to this memorial that happens every year, and I read this apology and I looked into the eyes of the Jewish community, which is much smaller these days in Slovakia, and I told them, please forgive us. We are sorry. And it was a very strong moment for both the government, but also for the Jewish community. Actually, we had tears in our eyes, but it was a great moment of really getting together, recognizing that they are also human beings, they are also our citizens, and they belong to us as our citizens, as one of us. And this is something what the Christians can bring, or actually people who follow Jesus can bring, because Jesus is the one who brought the reconciliation. If not for Him, we didn't know how to do it. So, and it's transforming the history. We in Europe are known as a continent with many wounds. We in Europe, but also known as a continent of a great people, great diversity of nations, of cultures. But if we bring reconciliations among these cultures, among these nations, Europe will be the best, and I would say the best place to live, but the strongest leader in the world to follow for others. So therefore, I would like to ask you to bring the people of reconciliation, because our Master, our Lord, will lead us into bringing this reconciliation anywhere you are, and it makes miracles. And the last thing that I would like to share with you is to be the servant leaders. That's what Jesus was, and that's what Jesus is. And when I say servant leader, I mean servant, but also a leader. Sometimes we forget. Sometimes we are just servants, and we forget that we should be the leaders. And some people are just leaders. They forget to be servant. So if we put these two words together, then we realize that we actually are courageous. We step into the difficult task. We sacrifice. We lead the people, but we do it with love, because we know what it means to be servant. And Jesus said, if you want to be the first, you need to be the last. If you want the biggest, you need to serve all. Dear brothers and sisters, this is my call to action for tonight. I'm very thankful that you all know Jesus and that you speak up and that you share your experience, because if not for that, I would not be here today and I would not be happily married with 4 children. But so please be active and be servant leaders. And I'm sure Europe will look different in a couple of years and many years after.